Boy, have we got a big-time menu today.
10 courses.
Well, at least a minimum of 3. Welcome once again to Culture Clash, brought to you by Flood Brothers Disposal Service. Right off the top,
I'm Catherine Saxon, by the way.
This is Catherine Saxon, along with yours truly, Chet Kopic. Okay, it was Mexico 1 week on a family excursion. This past week, you're out in Palm Springs. I want to know who your sugar daddy is.
Okay, no sugar daddy. I'm, self-made or trying to be a self-made woman. I went to Coachella. I survived my first Coachella experience. I don't know if you know what that is. It's kind of like Lollapalooza on steroids, or something that you're probably more familiar with, Woodstock. Does that ring a bell?
Well, there will never be another Woodstock.
Okay.
I mean, Woodstock isn't a class
I don't know.
by
This
itself.
was probably comparable. I have to tell you. Kanye West was there. It was a pretty memorable experience.
Now, Woodstock has Sly and the Family Stone, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. I could go on and on. It was the greatest assemblage of rock and roll talent in the history of the Western Hemisphere.
Okay, well, I'm talking about today. Empire of the Sun. They're from Austria.
Now,
They've got the
who's going to remember
costumes.
Empire of the Sun?
Honestly, I think that
years?
they are amazing. They're some of the best performers I've ever seen on stage, and there are, thousands of people at this performance. So I feel like there's a few other people who agree with me on this one. Empire of the Sun, I'm telling you. I'm going to have you listen to a few of their tracks, and you're going to be maybe, hopefully in love. That's my prediction.
Maybe, hopefully in love.
Maybe, hopefully. Maybe, hopefully.
Maybe, hopefully in love. Hey.
Rumor has it, Vanessa Hudgens, do you know who that is? She's a Disney princess.
Maybe I'll be in love with Nicolas Cage's wife. Hey, by the way, New Orleans, Nick Cage gets. How do you get busted in New Orleans for domestic abuse and disorderly conduct? I mean, this is New Orleans. I mean, people urinate in the street, for heaven's sakes. How do you get busted in New Orleans?
Well, if you're heavily intoxicated, a lot of things can happen, and that's when you're having some sort of altercation with your wife and it's in public. That might happen, unfortunately.
But what's kind of interesting is this: who should show up at Dwayne "Dog" Chapman, the reality series bounty hunter?
Okay, I was going to say the mullet man. Okay,
who bails out Nick Cage. Now, if you've ever seen Dwayne "Dog" Chapman, you realize he's a guy who looks like he's about 75 years old. As a matter of fact, I think Dwayne "Dog" Chapman might have sidekicked with Moses when he parted the Red Sea. But that being said, this is strictly Showbiz 101. Dwayne "Dog" Chapman is not down there in the best interests of
Well,
Nicolas
you can't
Cage.
write this stuff, but he's the one that bails him out of jail.
He's down there because it was PR 101 for Dwayne "Dog" Chapman, right?
Okay, well, so he's actually down there for Nicholas is shooting a movie right now, and it's apparently that he hasn't, paid his taxes, so the IRS came after him, and he owes, I think it's $14 million.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
The Australian.
Hey, a couple of lunches here, a couple of dinners there, we'll have the whole thing taken care of. Get my
couple houses in
Get a couple
foreclosure.
of receipts. Hey, this is no big deal. 14 mil, take care of that in 5 minutes.
Okay, and also the Australian Paul Crocodile Dundee Hogan, I'm thinking that's your idol. He owes the Australian government $37 million.
Show me a Crocodile Dundee movie, and I'd rather watch Test Pattern, for heaven's sakes.
I was thinking that was your idol.
Why? Now, look at me. Why would I idolize?
Okay, come on, humor me.
Crocodile Dundee.
Secretly, you have this weird fetish for him. Moving forward, the Osbournes.
No. Now you've walked me right in.
All right. It was a trap.
We had that babe who was involved, Jen Sturger, with Brett Favre. And the sexting.
Right.
Has anybody ever sexted you?
Well, that's none of your business. I have received some inappropriate text messages in my day, yes. But have you?
Yes.
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 I would say a good amount of the population has. And I look at that stuff as blackmail. I try to never reciprocate.
Some of those women actually had teeth.
One or two teeth.
I think it was 1 of 14. But they did lead the nation in one category, bad body tattoos.
All right, so have you heard of Vanessa Hudgens? She's a Disney starlet.
Yes.
Okay, well, so I want to talk about Coachella for a second again. There are pictures of her taking her finger, putting it into a small bag of a white substance. We're not sure what it is, and then sticking it in her mouth.
Well, it had to be Uncle Ben's converted rice.
Yeah, well, they're thinking either that or white chocolate, which I don't know if this was some sort of altering substance, but I'm guessing so. But a little embarrassing. They have snapshots of her slowly. It's like a flip book, slowly putting her finger in, taking it out, putting it in her mouth. So. I'm wondering if that's going to affect her Disney image.
Oh, by the way, back to Nicolas Cage. You know what Nicolas Cage screams to me right now?
What?
Rehab! Rehab!
Get on the Charlie Sheen train, apparently, right?
Hey, what surprises me about Charlie Sheen, the tour hasn't been canceled yet.
Well, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for this train wreck to end. Have you been watching Celebrity Apprentice?
No, I'm not big on Donald Trump.
Okay.
And the concept of Donald Trump running for president of the United States is the most laughable, ridiculous concept I've ever heard in my life. The only thing stupider than Donald Trump running for president would be me running for president.
Okay, that was a good one. I'll give you that. He said that
They can't all be gems.
He said that the next series of The Apprentice is going to be put on hold for him to actually start running for president. I thought that this was just a publicity stunt, but apparently he's for real. He thinks that Obama isn't actually a U.S. citizen or wasn't born in the country, but this just in, Hawaii is a state, Donald Trump. So I know it's hard for you to believe, but Hawaii is a state. So somebody who doesn't really think that Obama, at this point, doesn't believe that he was actually born in the United States. I mean, we've really ran that controversy into the ground.
Do you remember,
Please tell me you don't agree with him.
Do you remember a film called Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino?
No.
It's where they bust a bank. It's a couple of ne'er-do-wells in Brooklyn or the Bronx, and they rob a bank, and they take hostage all the people who are working in the bank, and they really don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
And they finally begin to negotiate with the police and the one guy who's in charge of getting all the hostages out safely, and he wants an airplane. So they agree to give him an airplane. And he goes back and he says to his partner, Sal, they're going to give us an airplane. This is Al Pacino talking. We can go
You sound just like him.
We can go to any foreign country we want to in the world. Where do you want to go? Sal's response, Wyoming.
Him and Donald have a lot in common. You're fired.
If you spent a week in the Bronx, you realize there are a lot of guys who would have the same answer.
All right, Arizona Governor Jan Brewer on Monday vetoed a bill that would have presidential nominees or candidates required to prove their U.S. citizenship, in other words, Barack Obama. And, we're just saying we've really ran this controversy into the ground. I can't even believe that this was passed by a legislature for her to have to veto it. I mean, this is already stated in the Constitution.
You don't know Arizona.
I do. I actually lived there for several years, went to college there, so I do know Arizona pretty well.
You know the mentality is kind of like, it's like the Old West.
I was going to say, welcome to the Wild, Wild West.
I mean, when I went to Albuquerque, I thought to myself, turn back the hands about 100 years, because I think that martial law still exists in Albuquerque.
Well, I mean, this would have, you already have the controversy over the immigration law, the illegal immigration enforcement law. I mean, this would have been, two black eyes allowing this bill to pass. There was also another law that she vetoed, and it was for guns to be allowed on college campuses. Her reasoning for vetoing it was the wording. Wasn't the bill itself, was the wording that it could have been misconstrued for allowing guns in elementary schools or high schools. I mean, the fact that this is even being allowed past legislature for her to...
I don't want my backpack. Let me pack a handgun.
What? It's ridiculous. And with all of the shootings that we've had at schools in the past few years, I find that it's the fact that this is even being...
People in third world countries want to know why we're screwed up. Hey, by the way, we have to go back to something. Okay. I did see the tail end of the Celebrity Apprentice.
Okay.
Because I think I was waiting for the 10 o'clock news to come on. Does that sound right? Something
important, okay. Gary Busey is gone, finally.
And Gary Busey got whacked, and it dawns on me, I don't think Gary Busey has turned out a relevant film since the Buddy Holly story, which was about 1924. Actually, it was 1978. But I think, Gary Busey is best known now as a guy whose brain kind of wound up scrambled after he was in a real bad motorcycle accident.
I mean, he's a Hollywood classic. You do too many drugs, drink a little bit too much booze, and have a little bit of the limelight, and something,
Wasn't that a line from a song by KC and the Sunshine Band? Drink a little booze, do a little coke, get down tonight. Get down tonight.
Hey, it's true. But okay, so he was, booted from the show. Did you see his altercation with Meatloaf? It was over, I think actually, I'm not making this up, a box of crayons. They were having arts and crafts time for one of their projects. And Meatloaf flips out at him because
Where are
he
they?
thought
The
that
Bellevue, the local nut house, they're having arts and crafts time?
he thought that Gary stole some of his arts and crafts. So he flipped out at him, and he actually was quoted saying, you know, when you have a confrontation with Gary Busey, and he comes off as the sane one, you know it's a wake-up call. And so at least he had some, you know, that was his sober moment for him.
Greatest lyric ever turned out by Meatloaf. Do you know what it is?
No.
I can see paradise by the dashboard light.
He wasn't seeing paradise at that moment, that is to be sure. Can we talk about the Cubs for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I know you're a little bit upset and you're a little insulted for the ticket holders. Can you explain to me what's going on?
Well,
because somebody who isn't a ticket holder is pretty excited about this.
I don't think this is panic on the part of Team Ricketts over the friendly confines, but I think Cub fans might be actually standing up right now and saying, you know what, if you want our cabbage, if you want our hard-earned bread, it might be nice if you won some ball games. What they've done is for the balance of home games during the month of April into May, where they are top-heavy with home games at a time when you traditionally don't have so-called baseball weather.
Okay.
They're offering discounted ticket prices.
Packages as well, though. You get a free hot dog.
Well, yeah. I'm going to get to that, little Miss.
Okay.
Little Miss World
all right.
Traveler.
I was excited about it. Okay.
You know, where are you going next week? Borneo?
You know, that's none of your business, but stay tuned next week and I'll have a whole new story.
All I'm saying is this: your boyfriend must have a lot of cabbage.
I don't have a boyfriend, actually. So.
You don't have a boyfriend?
I don't have a boyfriend. But back to the Cubs.
Hey, want to come home and check out my stereo system?
Absolutely not. Okay, so what's the solution for all of this?
Well, the problem is this: if I paid full price for a season ticket in a certain section of the ballpark,
okay,
and now that fan can walk in with a party of 4 and get the tickets at a significantly discounted rate, and also for that party of 4, each individual can get either a free Budweiser or a free Pepsi and a free hot dog. I want to know, where's mine? I paid full freight, so why aren't I getting, you know, some type of little kickback from the Ricketts family?
Right.
So everybody I've talked to who's a season ticket holder with the Cubs about this over the last 24 hours, they are major league pissed off.
Okay, so what's the solution? How do you fix this so that the ticket holders are happy
I don't know how you fix it.
And you get some more people filled up in the seats?
I don't think you can fix it. I think it's a short-sighted blunder on the part of the Ricketts family, because I think they made a very emotional buy with this ball club. I think they realized that the money they want from the state is never going to appear, at least not for a significant portion of time. So they're trying to enhance the revenue streams just to make this at least a break-even project.
Right.
But again, I mean, for example, if a guy paid $83 for a bleacher ticket on opening day, and now last night at the ball game, a party of 4 could walk in and buy 4 tickets for $40. I don't care if you're on top of the roof, for heaven's sake.
Right. What's the incentive to be a ticket holder?
Along with 4 hot dogs or 4 beers or 2 Pepsis and 2 beers, as far as I'm concerned,
that sounds like a good time
that guy
to
who
me.
bought the $83 bleacher ticket, he has been screwed royally.
He has been
And he ain't even been kissed.
Right. He's been kissed. That was a good one, actually. Okay. Barry Bonds. We have to have a recap over that. He was convicted, 1 charge. You called it. I wanted to give you a couple claps over that.
Well, what's interesting is this: Barry Bonds had no less than 7 attorneys in court, along with at least 3 paralegals. His lead attorney, a gentleman named Ruby, one of the most prominent attorneys in America, bills out at roughly $900 an hour. Barry Bonds spent literally millions of dollars over the past 5-6 years in an effort to avoid jail time. Now, will he serve any jail time?
Probably not.
Highly unlikely, 1 in 100. But the fact is, you know, as we wind down here on Culture Clash, and I have to say, Catherine, you look marvelous.
Thank you.
It's a very good shade of lipstick.
You can borrow it anytime.
Bless you. Where are you traveling this week? Let me guess. So the Wisconsin Dells.
No, I'm going to stay home for Easter and have a good time with my family, and we'll see. I'll have a full report for you on that, on the Easter egg hunt next week, and some more great hot topics. All
right, and we will catch you next time around. Brought to you by Flood Brothers Disposal Service. Those wonderful people. Check them out anytime, because they will always deliver for you the way they should deliver, and that is in a first-class manner. For Miss
Catherine Saxon,
I'm Chet Kopic. We'll catch you next time around on Culture Clash.
Bye, guys.
So long, everybody.